I don't know why, but you were watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
People scare better when they're dying. Folks, welcome to the Spaghetti Western Jamboree, where what do? We talk about spaghetti westerns, of course, also known as Italo westerns, also known as Euro westerns. We're talking, of course, about the subgenre of the western that was produced and directed by the Italians and mostly shot in Almeria, Spain. It was a magical period that really took off, I would say, started in earnest in 1966 with, of course, the release of Fistful of Dollars, which made a star out of Clint Eastwood, who had just been like a relatively unknown TV actor at the time. He was actually, I think, like the 11th choice that the producers and the director had to star. So they were just kind of stuck with him. But boom, the genre took off, and I think the Italians basically from that point on made about 300 westerns, and I think I've seen most of them. So I know the good ones and I know the bad ones and everything in between. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at one by the Godfather of Gore, the infamous, the legendary Lucio Fulci, who is best known, of course, for his splatter movies like Zombie, The Beyond, City of the Living Dead, aka Gates of Hell. So, if you're a horror fiend and you love you some Lucio Fulci, we got you covered tonight. If you love Italian westerns, we got you covered tonight. And we're gonna get into it. And everybody that is on Pilled, you just got a chance to watch the movie before the stream, and I hope you enjoyed it. And everybody else, if you want to see tonight's movie, all you have to do is click on the link below where you can stream the movie unedited, uncensored, 100% free of charge. Now, let me bring on some co-hosts. What the fuck am I going to do without a co-host? You don't want to see me just freestyling all night. That would suck. Well, first, got to bring on my boy, your boy. I know even if you don't know him, you don't understand that he's your boy, but he is your boy. Matt, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening, man? How's it going? This movie was fucking wild, bro.
It's brutal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Savage. Yeah, this was made in like 66, which is like means it was made around the same time as Fistful of Dollars, which was also, of course, renowned for its brutality. But you just really quickly allow me to segue here, because I can't help it. We are a comic book related show. We are an art related show too. And I gotta do this. See that right there? These are the finished pencils for Six Gun Gorilla issues 9 and 10. So
who did
I
that?
have in my hands the conclusion of the Six Gun Gorilla saga, of course, illustrated by the great, the visionary Preston Acevedo. And oh my God, he just killed it, man.
Look, we got to get Brian a better camera, guys.
What? What's wrong with my fucking camera? This is like a fucking 2K or like a fucking 4K. Oh, is it because it's like
the resolution is bad?
Is it? Is it? I'm not. Is it like a? Is it like a internet connection thing? Is it like?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that or if it's just you got the turned down to 380 or something. Check your resolution.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you know what's cool? It's like, Preston sends me the pics, right? He sends them to me as like JPEGs. Preston Acevedo, that mother. Oh, hey, Preston, what's going on, dude?
What's up, Preston?
Yeah, all I'm seeing is black, blurry.
Yeah.
Are you for real?
Dude, I thought you knew, like, this whole time, like, every show it's like this, and I thought you just, like, every time you show something off, it's just like a big bitmap blur.
I mean, you're blurry.
Hold on a sec.
You're blurry right now, dude.
I'm blurry?
All you motherfuckers are blurry.
No, Brian is like that every show. Like, he like, everybody else looks fine, but Brian is like blurry and he's stopping. Like, he's stutter stepping the whole time. Like, it's nuts.
Roboting?
All the time, dude. Like, all the time. Like, that's why I mentioned to you like a few times. I was like, how is your internet connection? Because like, if you get internet boosters or create a hotspot from your phone or something like that, anything to give you a better.
I got to do something. People help me out here. Definitely recommend. I'll take recommendations and anything. Well, that's the thing. It's like my Wi-Fi receiver. It's literally in the next room.
I don't think it's your Wi-Fi receiver. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe you got to go ahead and just go direct.
Did you go in the settings and check your definition, your high definition on your camera?
Let me see.
Go in settings, go in camera, and make sure that you're on full high definition 1080.
I am on full high definition.
Then you
try reducing it a little bit. Then try reducing it to like 720 or something like that. Like,
all right, now I'm on standard. Is that any better?
Standard could be whatever your Wi-Fi is giving you.
Right. That might be a little better. Move around.
Standard's 480. It is a little. You're still stopping and going, but yeah, it's a little bit better.
Definitely got to do something about your internet connection.
The audio is coming through clear?
Yeah,
I think you should just get a cable and just go direct, or move your office into the other room.
I think that is probably what I am going to have to do.
Yeah, I run a wire from the modem to my computer. I don't fucking try to Wi-Fi. It's too.
I mean, I'm doing Wi-Fi, but
too janky.
I got like really good
What's
Wi-Fi.
Up, Zayd?
Oh, what's up, Phil? What's going on, Phil? Another guy who loves him some Westerns and some spaghettis. But yeah, no, I was talking about the absolutely stunning and brave art by Preston for the new Six Gun. And I gotta say, man, when you print the pages out, you really appreciate the line work so much more than when you're looking at like a JPEG or a TIFF or something. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And also wanted to share with you guys some of the art that I've gotten from Jason Orpheus. Jason Orpheus being the creator of Octopus Cowboy. And I was impressed with that book, not just with the quality of the book. The writing was great. The art was really, 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 really good. The whole book was splendid. But one of the things that he was especially good at, I noticed, was historical authenticity. Homeboy does his research. He's like the Dixon of artists. He gets in there and searches and makes sure that shit is period correct. If I ask him to draw a cult peacemaker, he draws me a fucking cult peacemaker. And yeah, these are pages from the backup story, which is entitled I Know Very Well How I Got My Name. And it introduces the first character that I'm introducing from the expanded Six Gun Gorilla universe, character called the Dandy. You guys know who Batlash is?
Yeah.
Right? Imagine Batlash, but as if he were like a dangerous sociopath. Right? That's kind of what you get with the Dandy. He is a impeccable dresser, of course. He's also just an absolutely deadly pistolero. And this is about his origin, right? It starts out where he's in a saloon, and some of the guys there treat him, accuse him of cheating. And he goes about, he's like, hey, well, if you're going to kill me anyway, can I have a smoke first? Right? You're not going to deny a guy like a final smoke. So they let him have his final smoke, and he tells them his origin story, basically, and the absolute hell that his life becomes when he is sent to a British boarding school. Life in British boarding schools, fucking brutal. Brutal. And these were kids from the upper class, but the bigger kids would pick on the little kids, and it was just like a fucking nightmare for a lot of these kids. And then on Christmas, his uncle gives him a gift, which is a cult peacemaker, right? Because he's just come back from the New World, right, from America, and he brought a little souvenir, a little something for his nephew. And, well, let's just say shit happens. Jason is killing this story. Super grateful to him. But knocking that shit out of the park. But yeah, Preston, how are you doing, man? I know there's shit I want to talk to you about that I can't talk about because it's like MDA shit. But how are you doing?
Doing good, dude. Time is of the essence, but it's going to be a busy Christmas, which is odd.
Right.
Like, it's funny. Like, as an indie artist, I always like this time of the year is the worst, right?
Right.
Because people back up and they're like, they want to save their ducks and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Especially during con season, because during con season, when I used to do shows, people wouldn't spend money around Christmas because they'll go to shows, but they won't spend money over there.
Right.
Because usually people buy art and they buy stuff for themselves. They don't buy stuff at a con for other people. And yeah, dude, like since the V virus, like ever since that shit ended and I had to stop doing like cons, like I've been busy all year round, which is crazy. Like I've never been like that before.
Look, guys, if you have a friend that appreciates art or comic books, you also have friends that create art and comic books, and they're having a shit time at this point of the year. They need help selling those books. If you have somebody on your gift list that likes comics or art, fucking buy them an indie comic or some fucking art.
You see, that would make sense.
It does make sense.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't work that way a lot. It's the weirdest fucking thing, dude. Like, it really is.
Well, I preach that at this time of year every year, Preston.
Well, no, what I'm saying is people aren't tight with money. They're tight with money because they're saving to buy stuff for other people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have a friend on your gift list that likes comics or art. For fuck's sake, buy them some comics and art.
Yeah.
Yep. Some indie shit, preferably.
I mean,
A lot of people don't do that. It's very strange. It's a very strange thing. I don't know.
I encourage it this time of year every year because I know how hard it is for you guys.
Not for me. I mean, for the other guys, it is. Like,
well, I mean,
because I don't depend on that anymore.
Right.
But
indie creators in general. Okay. For indie creators in general, this ain't the time of year that they make a lot of money, and that's because everybody looks everywhere else for their gifts. Fuck, these guys all got cool gifts for your people. You know, I mean, ain't much better than comic books, man. Come on.
Is Brian doing this, or is this you, Pops?
I'm doing this.
Okay.
Because
this is clear as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. That's because what I did is I shared my screen.
Yeah. So it's got to be something between your camera, because this, like, if it was your internet connection, it wouldn't be this clear.
Yeah, because it's not moving.
Exactly.
Just still.
All right, so I'll just turn my camera off.
Is your camera connected to your computer, or is it Bluetoothed?
No, it's connected. I just think
you
that
got me
it's
stumped. I have no idea.
And I'm just gonna have to run like an extra long fucking wire.
Yeah, I would run. I would
say that, but I think Pops might have a point. Like, it might be in your sentence. You know,
smooth right there. See, that looks really good. It's the art looks really good. It's his camera.
That's what I'm saying. It's something in his sentence or something like that. Like, something's crazy over there. Dude.
Okay.
Did you get your camera off of Temu?
No. Dude, this shit's legit. This shit's legit. I paid good money for this fucking thing.
This is really a good camera.
I paid like $14 for mine. Works great. What the fuck?
I know, right?
I got a 4K camera, and I bought it like 2-3 years ago, and I paid out the ass for that motherfucker.
I got 2 good cameras, and neither one of them are very big at all. They're fucking tiny. They're good, both of them.
All right, let me see if I can change something here. Got the default.
Can't wait for this to look. It's gonna be awesome.
What was that?
Can't wait for this book. It's gonna be awesome.
It is. I can honestly say without boasting that it is going to be fucking awesome.
Matt has a lot of the same problems too.
That boy down below for hooking him for hooking his boy up with some fucking awesome. Just look at this shit, right? It's like these guys are in a Zeppelin and they're just cruising along, and suddenly they got fucking gorilla in their face. And Preston did not fucking disappoint here. Look, he's punching through the windscreen. And just look at that guy's bottom jaw, his lower jaw, and his fucking eyeball just fucking flying out. Like, the way I wrote it was that he punches him so hard that his head just spins around. But this is Preston we're talking about here. So he's going to give you that little extra something, that little extra bit of gnarly.
Violence and gore.
And then down here in the bottom, just his fucking deflated eyeball in the foreground.
Nice.
You got Ghost Pepper watching over on Pilled right now. He watched the whole movie with me earlier, guys, so he's really looking forward to the commentary.
But yes, we will get to tonight's movie in a moment. Preston, did you get a chance to check it out?
I did. Actually, I had to be like, my wife, one of my wife's family members died. He was super, super old, you know, he passed away. So we got a funeral to go to tomorrow, and his her uncle is in from out of town. So I had to stop the movie and go out to dinner. And so when I got back, I started watching it again, and I didn't get to finish it, but I watched a good bit of it. Got a new shirt.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, nice shirt, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a watch party every week, Preston. Before this show, I'm actually watching the show over on Pilled. We're playing it live. And people can join in and actually watch it with us. And then we come here and we do this show.
No, when I watch one of these movies, like, it's playing and I'm usually working, or I got to be called away to do something, and I have to stop it and then restart it, and then it's constant like that. I don't get sit
That's
around
why I
anymore
That's why I
and just
do
watch
it.
a movie for fun.
That's why I just do it.
Yeah, I hear you. Matt's in
That's
the
why I
same.
just do it right before the show, because that's the only way I really get a chance to actually watch the whole movie. If I wait till the last minute and do it all at once. And now
Takes
it's
me like
like
3
I
days to
force
watch it.
myself to do it because I time it on the schedule on the show schedules. So now
Yeah.
it's part of the deal. Okay, now I know I'm going to watch the show every week because I'm playing it.
Right.
You know, I'm going
Right.
to watch the movie every week because I'm playing the damn thing right before we do this. You
Right.
know, so
Yeah.
if you
And
ever
then gotta
haven't
throw in
seen
the
it,
occasional commentary.
if you ever haven't seen it and you're like right down before the show, go over to Pilled and watch because that's what we'll be doing too. You know, trying to catch it before the show starts.
Hells yeah, man. Hells yeah. Yeah, the movie we're talking about tonight is one of 3 Westerns that Lucio Fulci directed. Lucio Fulci, of course, Godfather of Gore, director of incredible, twisted, really extreme horror movies like House by the Cemetery, Beyond, Zombie, you know, that fucking with the legendary zombie versus shark fight. Splinter going in the fucking eyeball, and a bunch of horror classics. But he was like every other Italian director at that time, which was he was a journeyman. That is to say, he would direct whatever they were making, right? And what they were making at that time was Westerns. Horror movies were going to have a resurgence, in another decade after this was made, right? Italian horror would come back harder and stronger than ever. And that's when he came into his own, because it's like every one of these Italian directors, there's certain genres, even though they directed in all of them, there are certain genres that they just fucking clicked in, right? Like Umberto Lenzi, absolutely his crime movies, his Polizioteschi's are his best movies. But with Fulci, of course, he connected with horror because he had a fascination with violence and cruelty. And one thing you're going to get in an Italian Western is some violence and some fucking cruelty.
Is Fulci the one who made us wear masks during the lockdown?
Fuck you, man. How dare you? How dare you malign that great man?
I didn't know he made movies. That's crazy. That's all. You learn something new every day, don't you, Matt?
I think that was Fauci.
I got a little something for you. Preston.
Can I tell you something? What? Fuck you.
Oh, Christ, I fucking love that clip. Fulci, of course, like I said, best known for his horror movies, and rightfully so. They are his best films, beyond a doubt. But he did make 3 Westerns. We covered one of them on this show before, which was 4 of the Apocalypse. And that movie
Was
brutal.
fucking horrible.
No, it's not a horrible movie. It's actually a really good movie. It's just a fucking, it's like a ordeal. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a very unpleasant movie.
It was such an ordeal to watch. And
Yeah,
horrible ass music. It was terrible.
Moving on. You didn't like that fucking song? That's one of the things I think is so fucked up about that movie is that it has that happy music in it. It makes it.
You know what was really fucked up about that movie?
Yeah.
The whole fucking movie. That's what was really fucked up about that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those pictures. It's like I had forgotten what a fucking downer it was. And this and his other spaghetti, which was the Silver Saddle, which he shot with Giuliano Gemma. Like, you know, in the intro, those shots of Gemma doing fucking flips through the air and everything. That's from Fulci's The Silver Saddle. And yeah, you can watch those. Those are free on Tubi right now. You can stream those joints for free. And yeah, this, of course, you can watch by clicking on the link below. It's also on Tubi, but I have to say that the best copy I could find was actually on Amazon on Midnight Pulp. You know, I'm one of those guys that goes to like Amazon Prime and subscribes to certain channels to watch specific movies and unsubscribes like the next minute, because you still get like a free week, right? And the copy that's on there is pristine. I'm pretty sure it's taken from like a recent Blu-ray release. So if you can watch it on there, I recommend watching it on there. The copies that are on the streaming sites, the ones that are on YouTube aren't pristine. But if you don't mind, if you're one of those guys that can watch a movie that's not pristine, that's perfectly fine. I get that. I can do that too. But if I've seen a movie like a lot of times and I'm going to watch it again, I want to see like the sweetest possible copy that I can get. Yeah, and of course this stars the legendary Franco Nero, better known as Django, from, of course, the legendary Django by Sergio Corbucci, which we also covered once on the stream. And playing his drunken half-brother, George Hilton, who was in a bunch of spaghettis, also horror movies, you name it. Yeah, it's interesting. The screenplay for this is by Fernando De Leo, and he was one of those guys that really came into his own with the Italian crime movies. But then, of course, we have our director, Lucio Fulci. I think I've talked before on the stream about why there's so much cruelty and why there's so much sadism in the Italian Westerns, right? And as a kid, it made me wonder, like, what the fuck is wrong with the Italians? And there's a section in one of my favorite books, which is called Fantastic Films, an Illustrated Survey, by a British critic named Peter Nichols. And in discussing Italian horror, he has a chapter or a subchapter titled, "Are the Italians Sadists?" Right? So, which is an honest question, because it's just like, well, what the fuck? What's with all the sadism in these movies? It's because of fascism. Once you view these movies through that lens, everything fits into place. The violence and the cruelty and the sadism that you see in these movies was their way of it was the way of their artists to purge the luggage that they had from living under Mussolini.
I like the dogs ripping the dude apart. That was inspiring.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fucked up. It's fucked up because, and once again, it's like how I say, like with the Chinese, like the Kung Fu movies, you understand those better once you put them in the context of like the Peking opera. With these movies, you understand them better when you put them in the context of fascism. Because this movie opens up with these scum fucks, looks like they're about to go fox hunting or something. And turns out, of course, that their prey is distinctly human. And what are they going to do? They're going to hunt this fucking dude. And here, of course, we have Junior, easily the most fucking twisted and sadistic character in this movie, full of pretty fucking sadistic characters.
He's a dresser, too. He's like, I'm going to hunt you in style.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, he's covered in mad drip right there. And, you're talking about the the mid to late 1800s, which I think was the last time that men's clothes were really fucking cool. I wish some of these styles would make a fucking comeback. Not the thing that he's wearing right now. I wouldn't rock that shit. But then again, you can't catch him. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, but he is kind of styling and profiling. I'm not gonna lie. And that actor is Nino Castel. Okay, hold on. Let me wet my whistle. Nino Castelnuovo, and he plays Jason Junior Scott, the son of basically the arch villain in this. And he is as George Hilton's character says later in the movie, Junior is very good with a whip. And so he's just fucking snapping on this guy, and they just hunt him down and just have a good time watching as these dogs just fucking tear him apart. And you got a sadistic scene in an Italian Western, you're going to get these close-up shots of these leering, sadistic fucking faces. It's in all of these fucking movies. This scene really makes sense when you put it in the context of an incident that happened with a fellow by the name of Corbari. Corbari was a anti-fascist a partisan, a freedom fighter, right? And I know you're like, oh, Antifa. No, this guy was fucking fighting real fucking fascists, for real fascists, right? Fucking Mussolini and his cadre of fucking scumbags. He was out one day hunting, and with his rifle, and so he's going through some brush, and suddenly, boom, some dude just zips right past him, butt naked, bare ass naked, just shoom, like a fucking streaker, and he's just like, what the fuck? And so, like a minute later, these guys show up, with hunting rifles, and they're always like, yeah, did you see like a naked guy come tearing ass through here? And he was like, yeah, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, we're hunting him. And this is the kind of shit that the fascists would do on the regular to their enemies. And Corbari, being a fucking Chad, was like, oh, hell no. And fucking blasted these fools. And that's how he ended up becoming part of the resistance. It was because of that incident, because at that moment, he was a fucking outlaw. But he wasn't going to fucking tolerate, these motherfuckers doing what these motherfuckers are doing. But yeah, that scene, when you put it in that context, like after you know that history, it hits like in a totally fucking different way. And yeah, this of course is Tempo di Massacre. This is also known as The Brute and the Beast. So you can also find it under that title. Of course, who's the star? We got Franco Nero, and he's wearing Clint Eastwood's waistcoat from Fistful of Dollars, I think. But it's also the same waistcoat it looks like that he wears in part of Django as well. And so he's a gold prospector. These boys are just, panning for gold. And he's actually managed to find some. And he gets a message from home, like, hey, you probably should come home right now because shit's fucked up. Although his messenger doesn't tell him anything. He just tells him, go back home and fucking bolts. So he comes back home and he finds that his ancestral home has been turned into a pigsty. And when I say that it's a pigsty, it's a fucking pigsty. As you can see here, pigs are actually coming out of the front door. It's like his house is just fucking rotten, falling apart. And yeah, evidently, of course, it looks like somebody grabbed it from him. And that is like one of your basic plots in your Western movies, is that of the Range War. That is to say, people having their land took from them by people with bigger numbers and bigger guns and bigger bank accounts, which is what's happened to him here. So he goes to confront.
Sounds like the people in North Carolina.
Whoa, snap.
After that flood.
No fucking shit, man. No shit. Yeah. America, not a good place to, encounter a natural disaster. That's for goddamn sure. But hey, we knew that ever since Katrina, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, hey, shit. It's like, wait a second. I'm paying super high taxes. You're not going to come, help me?
You're paying taxes so other people can fight wars against other countries.
Yes. Yep. But Oh shit!
How dare you fucking complain? How dare you? Those people are suffering.
My house got washed away by a fucking flood. I just want to see it. There it goes. It's going there. It's going around the corner. Can you hook a brother up?
Did you see the one where the church was floating in the middle of the fucking ocean?
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the next time they seen it, it had sunk. Like all you could see is the roof.
But yeah, you're talking about some people's houses literally being lifted off the fucking foundation and fucking floating away.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And Preston knows a little bit of something about having his house fucked over by natural disaster.
Yeah, but my house that I owned back then was over 40 years old and it had a solid foundation. The newer homes didn't have very good foundations, so the whole house just kind of lifted up and just
Oh man, it's fucking scary. And I'm late to rise too. I can imagine waking up and just look out the window. It's just like the world's just flying by. Like, what the fuck?
That would be awesome if you wake up and you're like in fucking the Wizard of Oz or some shit.
Yeah, except you ain't in the ain't no fucking munchkins fucking coming to save your ass.
If you're seeing munchkins, then you're definitely on some type of fucking LSD or some shit.
Peyote, PCP or some shit.
Yeah.
Now, total non sequitur, but this dude on the right, his name was Romano Pupo. And you will fucking see this motherfucker in countless spaghetti westerns. He was like one of those guys that he was an Italian stuntman, right? And the Italian stuntmen and the Spanish stuntmen, who were legendary, were total chads. And of course, they just fucking respected the fuck out of each other. Were always trying to one up each other with some kind of crazy shit and partied like fucking savages. But because if you've ever known thrill-seeking types, the kind of people that will, throw themselves down a flight full of stairs, just to sort of look great in a movie. Yeah, those guys could party like fucking maniacs. But yeah, he's
related to U-Bowl?
I'm sorry?
Is he related to U-Bowl?
No, I don't. Uwe Boll, did you say?
U-Bowl.
No, this is Romano Pupo. Romano Pupo.
Just fucking with you.
Pupo, you fool, Pupo. Oh yeah, and then of course we got this old Chinese dude. That's actually
that dude was hilarious.
Yeah, he God, I'm trying to remember what other movies I've seen him in, but he is.
I could have swore. I know this is going to sound racist as hell, but this falls within the same time. He looks like one of the actors in a Godzilla movie. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does he? Like,
not exactly.
He's got a distinct type of sharp face,
Yeah, but he's not a Japanese brother. He's a Chinese brother. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, he's listed in the credits. I forget what his name was, but he was actually in quite a few spaghettis because, of course, there weren't that many Chinese dudes in Italy and Spain in those days. Oh yeah, no, I have it right here. Yeah, he's in this. I Am Sartana, Your Angel of Death, which is one of the Sartana sequels, one of the better ones actually. Although there's really not a bad movie in that entire series. Vengeance is a Dish Served Cold, and The Price of Death. Also playing a Undertaker in that one too. And yeah, that one has stars Gianni Garco and Klaus Kinski. Let me roll the trailer for this real quick. Let's take a look at that. Got some other clips. Of course, we're going to have to be careful to not show an entire movie so that we get yanked off of the YouTubes. But everybody that's watching us right now on the YouTubes, on Pilled, on whatever platform you're watching, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. Spank that like button, hit the subscribe, and ring-a-ding-ding-dong, the bell for notifications. It makes a very big difference for us. You know, it tickles the algorithm's ass with a feather, basically. Okay, let me fucking find this. All right. Yeah, there it is. There it's not. So what did you guys think of this movie anyway?
Thought it was pretty badass. I liked a lot of the gunfights in here. I thought they were pretty awesome. Like the one guy does like a backflip in the air and shit.
Yes, there is a moment where our boy Franco does do a fucking backflip.
I like the scene where he puts a cigarette out on the dude's face. That was awesome.
The stogie.
Yeah.
Puts the stogie out on that motherfucker's face. His bitch ass had it coming too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and that drunken scene with his half brother where he's getting smacked at him. That was hilarious. And then Nero has to jump in. He's like, "Yeah, right. That's enough. That's enough."
Yeah. The guy who kind of steals this movie, I have to say, is George Hilton as his brother, his half brother, Slim, who seems to just not have a problem with the fact that basically his entire life has been taken away from him. And, you know, Franco can't understand, like, why are you so complacent here? Because it's like a little adobe hut that he's sharing with the woman that was their maid. But she, of course, is like a second mother.
I thought it was their mother at first. Like I said, I was in and out though.
Right. Yeah, no, she's not their mother. She was their maid, but you know, brought them up from when they were like little boys. So they're like sons to her, and to them, she's like a second mother. And you know, and he's just like, well, fuck. Like, why don't you just go and fucking get our place back? And he's just like, well, dude, you just don't understand what you're up against, because the people that jack their place are, shocker, not really nice people. Like, I mean, they're spaghetti western villains, man. They're spaghetti western villains, so they're fucked up. They're like, you know, not just mean, but just like, you know, like just evil and like super sadistic. Then of course we have, you know, you always got to have the scene with the fucking brawl. And yeah, there's our boy Romano Pupo again. And yeah, he just goes up to him and fucking puts a stogie out on his fucking face. And it's off to the fucking races. And I just love the way that Fulci works some comedy into this. So,
and the horror, man.
What was that?
Well, in the horror too. Like if you see Fulci and he's doing a western, you know, there's going to be a lot of horror elements to it. You know,
for sure.
Spaghetti, you know, nightmare escape.
Yep. You know, like I said, he wasn't originally like a horror director, because at the point where when he started, the Italians weren't really making horror movies anymore, right? Because it was always boom and bust for them. You know, it's like the Peplums, the Sword and Sandal movies were doing, you know, were big hits. So they made nothing but that for like, you know, anywhere from 5 years to a decade is how long these cycles would last. And with the spaghettis, it was the same thing. They were making almost nothing but spaghettis. And then when the spaghettis dried up, then they went back to horror and also started doing crime movies, because the poliziotteschi, because the Death Wish movies had been like just ridiculously popular when they released them in Italy. And I'm not just talking about. Well, I don't really mean the Death Wish movies. I mean specifically Death Wish itself, right? Because the sequels came really quite like at least about a decade later, and they're trash. I mean, I love them, but for different reasons. It's like I love those movies too, but they would never. You can't really accuse those movies of being good movies, in my humble opinion. So, but yeah, when they're brawling here, Chinese homeboy is like using a little fucking pea shooter. He's using like a little fucking blowgun to fucking sting these guys in the back of the neck.
He was, huh? I thought he was using a blowgun.
Yeah, because, Slim is getting his ass whipped by these guys. Of course, he's shit-faced drunk, so he doesn't give much of a fuck. His Chinese homeboy definitely lends a hand. And
didn't he charge him money for that too?
Yes. He's always shaking motherfuckers down. This dude is always shaking motherfuckers down. He's just like, for information, that's okay, that's 2 cents. His job as an undertaker, he's just like, okay, it's like $2 a coffin, and which Franco Nero ends up paying for. Because yes, there's an entire family, including kids, that get massacred in this movie. It's a pretty fucking rough and ready one. The thing that fucked me up in this scene is when somebody goes over and they fucking rake him across the back with their spur. Like, they just come up to him and just go zing, and just like, oh fuck, and you fucking feel that shit. That's the thing that was great about Fulci. When it came to violence, he made you feel that shit. He made you, some of the shit in this is fucking wince-inducing. Like, people really look like they're just not exactly having a good time. The whipping scene in particular is just fucking savage. Brutal. Yeah, there's Romano Pupo getting shot in the back of the neck again. It's like, oh, what? Yeah, the Chinese dude shakes him down, but hey, man, he pitched in. He fucking earned that fucking money. And then, of course, we have Junior, the fucking psychopath, who really one of the better spaghetti villains from this era. Not on the level of like a Gian Maria Volonté and Fistful of Dollars or something like that, but he is a pretty strong, twisted, sadistic villain. And what I love about his performance in this is the fact that Nino Castelnuovo's performance is that he brings across the fact that he's not exactly right in the head. There's that scene that he has with his father where you see him sort of almost breaking down. And you could see that if he's not completely batshit insane, at the very least, the edges of his sanity are frayed. Let's put it that way. But first, let's take a look here at the trailer for Massacre Time, or as I like to call it, Massacre Time. Yeah, and I just love how this begins with that fucking savage whipping scene. Yeah, so what happens is, of course, Franco goes to confront the guy that basically took everything from him. And, well, first, in order to get there, Slim has to ace, like, what, at least about 6 motherfuckers, right? He just blasts them down, and then he just, like, lets his brother, he's like, okay, I cleared the way for you, boy. You know, you're free to go, because he knows that he's not going to listen to him if he tells him to turn around. That he just needs to fucking experience this shit firsthand. And I'm not going to say that Franco's beating in this is worse than the beating that he gets in Django, because he gets jacked up in Django. I mean, they just fucking destroy his hands, right? They just beat on his hands with rifle butts and then ride horses across his hands. When you get to the climax in that movie, his fingers are practically fucking falling off. But he definitely gets roughed up in this, that's for sure. One of those beautiful sunset shots, of course, classic Western imagery. Yeah, he comes back half dead. And Slim, his brother, is just kind of grinning to himself. And he's just like, Junior's pretty good with the whip, ain't he? What the fuck was that? Are you sharpening pencils during this stream, Preston?
Who, me? No,
Yeah.
no. That's that's the Roomba.
Okay. Busted. Colt Peacemaker. It is also worth mentioning. The music in this is Look, it's not Morricone, right? So the music in this
It's actually kind of cool. I kind of dig it.
It's alright. But once again, it's not Morricone. Not sure who it is actually. Usually in these movies, if it's not Morricone, it's either Bruno Nicolai or I'm forgetting the name of the other guy. It's going to come to me in a minute, I'm sure. Louis Bacalov. That's the other guy. Basically, those three guys, pretty much, between the three of them, had the spaghettis locked down when it came to the music. You notice also that a lot of these have songs that are in English, right? That evidently, I always thought that they would do things like that to convince the American audience that they were watching an American movie, but it was actually to try to convince the Italian audience that they were watching an American movie, because they hadn't quite leaned into it yet.
Why, like, sneaky fucks.
Well, yeah, because, you watch like the early spaghetti westerns and they're pretty fucking boring. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of them are actually very good, but they're very plain. That is to say, they're imitations of American westerns in every respect. And it wasn't until around 65 and 66, you had fucking Sergio Leone come in and be like, nah, fuck that. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to fucking spice this shit up with our own flavor. And then, of course, that was when the spaghettis took off, because the Italians just completely reinvented and reinvigorated a moribund genre. And you do get, the plot to this is one that you really kind of see in a lot of these spaghettis from this era, in that they're often about a hero that's returning home. The best of those that I can think of is The Return of Ringo, which is basically based on the third act of the Odyssey, right? When Ulysses returns home and finds the suitors have taken over his house and they're sweating his wife, and he fucking locks the doors, and fucking mows all of their asses down with his bow and arrow. One thing that you probably noticed in this too, fellas, is that normally in the spaghettis, like in the Leone movies, you never see any bullet squibs, and you never see bullet holes in people, really. The guys just kind of clutch their chests and spin and fall and go, ah, which is
I had one really, really big problem with this movie. Nobody ever reloads anything.
Oh, no.
You noticed that.
Ever reloads anything. I just shot 18 bullets and I'm still shooting more. Yeah, this is a 6 gun, not a Glock.
Well, at least they're not sniping people with a shotgun. So
no, definitely not. Like with a sawed off, right? Like some of the fuckers like 100 yards away. Got him.
Like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie.
Yup. That movie still rules, though. Oof. So you can see there, that's not a bullet squib, but those are real powder burns on that guy's belly. I hope he was fucking wearing something underneath that, because that shit would hurt. Oh, there's the flip. He flipped it. Yeah, and Slim, of course. Yeah, this is the scene where he's taken out the villain's goons, right? Because he kind of has himself protected with layers of goons, right? So this is like the first bunch of goons that they run into. And Slim is just like, hey, you know what? Like, will you accept responsibility for killing these motherfuckers? He's just like, yeah, okay, then I'll kill these motherfuckers for you. La Colt Cantarono la Morte. Don't ask me what that means. Oh yeah, that's the ride by scene. That's the ride by that they do.
Ride by.
Yeah, they do a fucking
Right inside.
Ride and snipe. Yeah, after
Side saddle.
Yep. So after Franco gets his ass beaten in like within an inch of his life, and I just love this moment because he comes in looking like fucking death, and his brother is just snickering to himself, right? Because he was basically like, I would have warned you if you weren't a dumb fuck, because I know if I warned you, you weren't going to listen. You know, that you basically were just going to have to fucking experience it for yourself. And yeah, that is the case. And then these guys really fuck up. And they do that ride by, and they blast the maid, like I said, who is basically like a second mother to them. And, Slim, who has this fucking shit-eating grin on his face for most of the movie, that shit just wipes the smile right off his fucking face, and he just starts fucking sobbing. And then, of course, it's time to go and get the bad guys. But things are more complicated than Franco realized, because it turns out that the arch villain is his father. Remember, him and Slim, George Hilton's character, they're not brothers, they're half brothers. But it also then, when this guy turns out to be his father, it also means that Junior, the sadist that fucking whipped him within an inch of his life, is Franco's brother. So you've got major family shit going on here. That is also very Italian. It's part of like the really operatic nature of a lot of the Italian Westerns.
So basically it's a Western Godfather.
In some respects, it's no,
La
it's
Costa
like,
Nostra.
no, it's like, it's just the Italians love tragedy. They understand it, right? Like
They live it.
Americans don't understand tragedy. I know people who will literally not watch a movie or will hate a movie because it had an unhappy ending. And it leaves them feeling cheated. They're like, well, why did I bother watching that movie for like an hour and a half or 2 hours if the hero just dies at the end? Like they can't wrap their heads around it. But the Italians,
it's like I don't mind movies like that. One of my favorite movies that is Johnny Darko. Because at the end, Johnny, he dies. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
Yep. But he's also kind of in a horror movie, right? And nobody's safe in a fucking horror movie.
Kind of, but he's also like a hero too, because he undoes. But then you realize like he did all this great shit while he was alive. Yeah. But then because he went back in time and he died to bring his girl back, that means the pedophile was still loose. You know what I'm saying? Like he never got caught. And all this other crazy shit like that he did, like was undone by it. You know? Right. You're talking about Swayze's character. Yeah, yeah. Who's like a fucking con artist. That's what I'm saying. Whenever they don't follow that formula that Hollywood like loves, you know what I'm saying? Where it feels like you're watching the same movie over and over again. Yep. What is it called? The 3-act structure? Yes. Whenever they don't follow that, like true genius comes out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Johnny Darko follows that 3-act structure. You know? Donnie Darko, motherfucker. Donnie. You know, like that's what I said, Donnie. No, you said Johnny, bro. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just Donnie Darko. Yeah. Donnie, like Donnie Wahlberg. Donnie, no, I'm not doing that. That's gay. You know, the guy from New Kids on the Block. He was the one that was like rough and ready. He was the rough and ready guy. You know, the guy. Shit, please tell me you're not a New Kids on the Block fan. Well, isn't everybody? Oh God. I remember. Yeah. What I mean is like that, and fucking that Johnny Depp movie where they're in Vegas doing a bunch of drugs. Fear and Loathing. Fear and Loathing. Yeah. Whenever they don't follow the 3-act structure, like true genius like happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the 3-act structure actually handcuffs creators. Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on what's right for the story. That's always the case for me. It's always about what is right for the story. And if you're going to subvert the 3-act structure, at least know the first act structure, because you know, like I mean, we've had this discussion a billion times. Yeah, you got to learn the rules before you break the rules. Who made that a rule? It's just something that just fell into place. It's just certain things are pleasing to the human mind. You know what I'm saying? Like certain notes of music. It's just something that works. The 3-act structure has worked. It started in the theater. Started with plays, and of course, it's translated into cinema. Something like other narrative art forms like novels, short stories, and such. They don't have to adhere to that at all. But for some reason, yeah, it just kind of works. You have to do. Yeah, you gotta show this. Yeah, this is George Hilton's, right, where he's just like the things you gotta do for family, and he's gonna blast these fools so that his brother can go and get his ass whipped within an inch of his life by Junior. But real quick, I just wanted to say yo to Lark Bark here, and he is right. The Death Wish sequels were out of the 80s, distributed by Canon Films. They had that sleaziness to them. Yeah, they did.
Cannon was the shit.
Oh, what'd you say? What'd you say, Matt?
Cannon was the shit.
they kind of were in some respects. Because I mean, they made,
I gotta go. I got surgery tomorrow. I gotta go get me some sleep.
All right,
so
Pops.
I do that, but
God bless Pops.
To me, huh?
Yeah, God bless you, dude. We'll be thinking about you. Okay. Fingers and toes crossed for you, B.
Y'all have a good night, and hopefully I'll see you in the next couple of days.
Hopefully, dude. Hopefully. Fingers and toes crossed. Don't worry. It's going to be okay, man.
Yeah, well,
Get some sleep.
If you hear from me tomorrow, you know I survived. Right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Usually that sex change operation isn't so invasive. I mean, they usually just knock that.
You know, if I die on the table, Preston, that's the last thing that
Yeah, that'll be on your conscience, bro. That'll be on your conscience forever. But yeah, no, best wishes, Pops. You know, we're gonna be thinking about you. But yeah, here's my policy on the Death Wish sequels, right? 2, I think, is just trash. Right, and it's got a sleaze factor to it, which I like. It's just the structure of it is just all fucked up. It's just not a proper film, and certainly it's none of the Death Wish sequels are proper Death Wish sequels, because Death Wish itself is just a really good movie, and it's not pro-violence and it's not pro-vigilantism in any respect. Sequels, basically. Paul Kersey, Bronson's character, basically just becomes the Punisher, or Mac Bolan, the Executioner, who's a pulp character that the Punisher is based on. But I love 2. I'm not crazy about. 3 is the shit. Death Wish 3 is the shit. They actually shot that in England because there was a neighborhood there that had been completely depopulated. Right, all the buildings were empty. And so Michael Weiner, the director, who was from England, was like, oh, we'll shoot here, and that way we can blow up the entire neighborhood. And that's pretty much how Death Wish ends. It ends with like a full-on war. Just war.
That's awesome.
Fucking Bronson with the fucking auto mag, with the fucking 50 caliber machine gun.
I think I remember that one. I gotta go back and watch it. That's part 3, right?
That's 3. Yeah.
Okay.
3, and you've got.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Doobie.
Oh man, it's that. What's funny is the gang in that is just so fake. Right off the bat, it's just like they've got like these bullshit like punk hairdos, right? Certainly the
I don't
villain
know
does.
what you're talking about. Every gang back in the 80s had punk hairdos.
Oh, and they were integrated. It's like no racism in the gangs back then.
Like I remember The Warriors was actually a documentary.
Yeah, but here's the thing about The Warriors. The Warriors is a science fiction movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking with you.
Warriors!
Warriors!
Out and play! Warriors!
Come out and play! Oh my god. Fucking, for what? Fucking David Patrick
Matrix,
Kelly.
no! Matrix, no! Remember when I told you I killed you last, Sully? I lied.
That's right, Matrix. You did. Great actor. And then, of course, also immortalized in The Crow as T-Bird. Fucking love that dude. Just always fucking killed it as a villain.
I know you, but you ain't you. We killed you.
You ain't you. We killed you.
There ain't no coming back. There ain't no coming back.
Oh, that was the same dude?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And felt how awful goodness is, which is a line actually from Milton, Paradise Lost.
Awful goodness is.
Yeah, boy. Oh, man. Such a fucking great movie. fucking that abortion of a remake, man. Holy shit. That's gonna go down in history as like one of the worst movies ever made, and definitely one of the worst remakes. That's for fucking sure.
The Crow?
Yeah, the new one that they made.
Oh god.
The Recrow.
I'm telling you, dude, like, yeah, but I mean,
hot garbage.
Like, are you kind of making fun of the special needs people when you're talking about The Crow, like the new one? Because you know they.
What you talking about?
Because that actress in there,
Will?
you know, like that actress was she was special.
No,
you know?
Snap.
I don't know if if you can actually say anything because you might get canceled.
Her name was like Pixie Sticks or something, or Twigs or something.
Well, that's because she kept trying to eat twigs, is what I heard. Like
that's
she got that name.
They're Pixie Sticks
and rocks too, evidently. And so
with that jaw, dude, that jaw. Ooh.
She was playing.
Oh.
She was definitely eating rocks, I can say.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe I sat through that.
I mean, like, can you imagine being her leading man? And he's like, whoa! I gotta pretend like I love this motherfucker.
Right. Well, Bill Skarsgård probably appreciated that because he's a married man with a family, and the last thing you need to do is go to work and make out with a chick that's going to give you an actual, authentic boner. Right, so no worries about that. There, he could just he'd go home guilt free.
Can you imagine his wife is all worried and shit, and then she sees a headshot of the actress, and she's like, "Oh, baby, I'm so sorry."
That's a fucking bullet there. That's pretty fucking hot.
She's like, I thought you were playing Nosferatu.
No. Yeah, she wasn't that fly. That's putting it charitably.
She looks like a reject from the Walking Dead or something.
She definitely didn't deserve 50 minutes of the fucking movie. You know, I wouldn't spend an eternity in limbo in limbo for her. Let's just put.
And when she talked, like she had like a serious lisp, like she was like.
Yeah, well, it's like video games. No more hot chicks. No more hot chicks in video games. No more hot chicks in comic books. No more hot chicks in movies.
Because they're like, yay, we love losing money. Yay.
Yep. Well, they don't care because ultimately it works. It must balance out with that ESG score that they actually end up making money. But I don't know. Who the fuck knows? What up, Paulus?
How do you make money by making a failure of a movie?
Because
that's supposed to make you money. I don't understand.
There's a thing called the ESG score. Look. I'm not an economist. Like economics is the most boring fucking shit.
But what I'm saying is like they're saying. I understand what you're saying. You're saying like they get paid for doing something socially correct, right?
Yes.
But my whole thing is like, so the Soros Foundation is paying these people for doing that. But we're not talking about losing money on something like, something that's like a few $1,000s or even $100,000. We're talking about like hundreds of millions of dollars being lost, and they're doing it consecutively. How much money does the Soros Foundation have where they can keep paying these people to lose that type of money?
Well, it's not just
Lord Soros the Hut.
You know what it is? Oh yeah,
Soros the Hut.
Go ahead.
Who, me?
Go ahead,
Lord Soros.
Oh, Lord
Soros the Hut. The
Hut. But the way it works out, this is just my like feeble childlike understanding of it, is that the ESG score basically tells people, oh, you want to invest in this company because they have this really high score, and that score is based on how woke they are. And so they get more and more investors because their ESG score is really high. But then,
with the movie industry, well, I get that, but I'm saying like with the movie industry, like you're also talking about long-term profits off of these movies where they can make more money on the resale of the movie in different forms, right? And nobody's ever going to watch these movies.
Right.
It's a fucking horrible.
They're fucking horrible. And this, to me, this is the most striking fact out of DEI and all this woke shit. Disney has still, what, it's been 10 years or so? No. Has it really been that long? That was since they bought Star Wars from George Lucas.
God, I think it has, dude, because they bought that right after they bought like Marvel, or they bought it before Marvel.
They bought it before Marvel. I think.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that. It's everything's a fucking blur, but they still haven't made a profit.
Well, they're pissed off because George Lucas isn't like supporting their Star Wars.
No, what they don't want him. They don't like him.
Yeah. He's
right.
Like, yeah, you guys are ruining this shit.
As far as he's concerned, as far as the fans are concerned, they can go get fucked. It's like, we don't want you. We don't want your money. Go fuck yourselves. That's basically.
I think they say George Lucas as the Trump of of the entertainment industry, because it's like, yeah, I'll turn this shit around in a second. Just let me go. Let me crack my knuckles for a minute, do a little stretch, and I'll get Star Wars back on its feet. And they're like, no, you won't.
Yeah, no, Jon Favreau almost did it with The Mandalorian. The first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian were fucking
brilliant, dude.
We're fucking genius.
And then they brought in multicolored cycles.
Dude, the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, really, before that came out, I couldn't have given a rat's ass about Star Wars. Didn't give a fuck, right?
No, me neither. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then that shit dropped, and I was like, holy shit, this is the best Star Wars, not since Return of the Jedi. This is the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
And
they ruined it.
And it had to go.
Because they were like, oh, fuck, people like this? No.
Exactly.
No.
Nope. And so they got fucking Jon Favreau the fuck out of there. They cock blocked him at every fucking. Remember, Gina Carano was the linchpin for his extended Star Wars universe, right?
Yep.
Everything was going to kind of like, she was like the wheel with the spokes, right? And the spokes leading to like all the other fucking entries in the TV shows and the movies and all that crap.
She wasn't bad either. She wasn't the greatest actress, but she wasn't bad.
No, she was solid.
And she's a professional fighter, so. Right.
So if you're going to have a woman that is whipping the ass of like 250, 300-pound men, all jacked up with muscles, she should look like that.
Yeah, like she was legit.
Supermodel. Exactly. So she looks like, it's like the same thing with Schwarzenegger. She looks like she stepped out of the pages of a comic book, like a Frank Cho drawing. Really, she's like a Frank Cho drawing come to life.
But the problem is, she wouldn't go along to get along. She tried to think for herself, and that's not acceptable.
No. She wouldn't list her pronouns.
That's right. She wanted to be a smartass, but beep bop boop.
They got rid of her. And that unraveled the whole thing. And they were just waiting for the fucking excuse, and they were just like, okay,
and the dude who's playing the Mandalorian was like, no, I want to show my face. And they're like, well, that's not what the Mandalorian is. Like, he doesn't show his face.
Yeah, he's the man with no face, right?
Exactly.
Like, Eastwood was the man with no name. The Mandalorian, Mando was the man with no face.
Exactly. Now, and this dude wanted to like rock the boat.
Exactly.
Like, I want to be. It's about me.
Exactly. Right. That's not your fucking job, dude. It's like,
nope.
It's not like Hugo Weaving was bitching when he was making. I'm sure he wasn't bitching when he was making V for Vendetta. Right? I'm sure he wasn't trying to talk to the Wachowskis, like, hey, like, do I have to wear this Guy Fawkes mask for like the entire fucking movie?
I know, right? Yeah.
Right?
Oh, God, what a great movie that was.
A fucking professional.
Dude.
Right? A fucking professional. But that's one of the reasons why American TV shows and movies, they like to use British actors, because they're not stuck up little fucking whiny pussies and prima donnas, because most of them come from the theater world. And if you're in the theater world and you act like a fucking prima donna, everybody fucking hates you.
Well, they should, because it's not about you.
Exactly. It's the English. They're like the Italians when they were making these movies, where there was no hierarchy, where it's just like the star is at the same level as the key grip.
It's like
guy.
It's like when you told me, you were like, Preston, make Kumba look like me. And I was like, Brian, I am not doing that. This is not about you. It's about a goddamn gorilla.
Yeah, I had to fight him hard on that too. I had to fight hard on that.
I mean, I did tell you, I was like, you guys are probably just, y'all have about the same amount of body hair, but no, it's not about you.
True. That's true. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. I'm not quite like Ron Jeremy or Robin Williams, but kind of like approaching their level of fuzziness. Oh my God. I'm just like, my girlfriends are always like, it's like, you know, I actually kind of like your fuzziness. Like, you're kind of cuddly, but it's just like, they had to fucking, get to that stage. It's not like they were all into it at first.
Yeah, it's like I told my lady, I was like, yeah, I'm like, I have a bald chest, but from the waist down, I look like a gorilla.
Oh, well, don't forget, gorillas have amazingly small penises.
Well, like I
they
said,
have smaller penises than humans, actually.
Damn.
Yeah. Gorillas look adorable when they're fucking too. You ever seen gorillas fuck?
No, Brian, we're not into that. You're in your fucking Beastars fucking mentality over here.
Got the binoculars out in the jungle.
Where you going, Brian? I'm going to the zoo to go masturbate.
I'll be back.
It's mating season.
I think it's siesta.
They fuck in the missionary position, and while they're fucking, they're doing this. They're going, like they're putting their lips out.
Can you imagine being a zoo worker and you're like, please get that motherfucker out of here? Why does he bring lotion to the fucking zoo?
Gorilla porn, slapping bass. No, for that it would be the bonobos, right? Because bonobos are fucking are freaky. Bonobos are freaky like that. Buckshot bonobo. Remember I told you about Buckshot bonobo?
No. Did you hear about that squirrel?
And dude.
They had a squadron of fucking police officers.
Peanut, man.
With guns out and everything to go get this guy's squirrel, right?
Peanut and a raccoon, man.
Yeah, and this raccoon. And so they go into their arm, like they kick his door in, fucking guns blazing. Where's the fucking squirrel? And then one of them gets bit by the squirrel, and they're like, "Oh, we got to kill it now because he might have rabies."
Give me the squirrel.
There's people walking out of shopping markets with bags of clothes and everything else.
Yeah,
no consequences whatsoever. But you bring a fucking SWAT team to go to get a squirrel.
Yeah,
Squirrel Team 6.
Yeah. Paula says the first season, he's talking about Mandalorian, wasn't bad. 2 was okay, I guess. I thought both of them were rad. And you know what? The whole return of Luke Skywalker in that last episode.
That was brilliant.
Like I said, not like a big Star
That first season, though, man, that was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like they really catered to the fans when they did that.
Yeah,
like it exploded, dude.
And that music, it's basically Lone Wolf and Cub, is what Jon Favreau based.
Dude, it was brilliant.
Genius.
I don't know why they ruined it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't get it.
For that ESG score, B, all for that ESG score.
It sucks, dude.
Let's take a quick look at this scene here.
Things you have to do for relatives.
He does a lot of that in this going. And that's his other shtick. He's always very polite before he fucking just blasts you.
Hey, gentlemen!
Hanging down in the fucking saddle like that, Studley. buck them down, buck them down, buck them down, buck them down, buck them down. Yeah, so did both of you guys like this movie? Get like a reasonable kick out of it?
It was pretty good. I got to watch the rest of it. It wasn't bad at all. Kind of dug it.
Yeah, I dug it, man. I thought it was cool. You know, you get the cool villains. You know, you get this dandy motherfucker right here. And again, like the brother was pretty funny. Excellent fights. Again, if you're fucking with Fulci, you're gonna get a lot of horrific elements, you know, in your Western. So and it and that being in the the spaghetti West, it's a it's hellacious.
Yeah, it's basically a nightmare world, right? Like it's a world where it's just hyper violent, right? Everything is just kind of cranked to 11. Nobody's safe. They'll fucking kill children. They'll kill fucking priests. And they have an uncanny air to them. It's funny because it's a feeling that I always had about the spaghettis, especially the Leone movies, which is that they almost feel like fantasies, in the sense that they have an atmosphere that is so otherworldly. You feel like, well, this isn't the West. This feels more like, I don't know, purgatory? Like at best, right? Hell at worst. And that's why you have so many, supernatural spaghettis. Really, the whole Weird West genre kind of comes from the spaghettis for that reason. It's just it's a meaner, nastier, more evil version of like the world of the Old West in the American movies.
Pretty much a slice of heaven, my kind of place.
Well, it's a place for fucking adventure. As a kid, and you'll notice there's no love interest in this movie, right? When you're a kid, that's one of the things that makes these movies so much fun, especially when you're a kid. You don't care about seeing women yet, right? And you're just like, oh, you don't want any of that fucking lovey-dovey, fucking kissy bullshit. You want to see some fucking action. You want to see people getting murked. You're right. You want to see some fucking just badass fun shit.
Reminds me of the Godzilla movies. Like you're sitting there just fucking sitting on your hands waiting for Godzilla to appear. But you have to go through all this other bullshit.
Well,
until the final fight scene.
They don't need women. They're real cowboys. They know how to cowboy.
Yeah. We got, hey, you want to go up in the mountains and we go cowboy together? Bring that bottle of whiskey. We'll make it a night.
It gets lonely on that 6-month trail.
Get some of that churn butter lubricant.
Yeah. Like I've mentioned it before. Not to flog a dot.
You want a cowboy on top or the bottom?
I'll show you why they call it Yellowstones.
Oh, sorry. What you say, Matt, homeboy?
Reverse Yellowstone.
I'll show you what Yellowstone really means.
Oh, snap. But when there was that controversy over Brokeback Mountain, man, that shit was fucking funny, right? It was some people, Western fans, a lot of people on the right that were just like, they're just trying to desecrate the American cowboy by making him a homosexual. And I'm like, oh, you guys.
Well, they kind of actually being really honest.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's based on a book written by Larry McMurtry, for fucking sake, right? One of the great American Western novelists. So, yeah, no, there was. What I'm saying is there was a lot of gay shit going on. A lot of situational homosexual behavior.
A whole lot of bucking going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes were fucking each other in the ass. if you want to go there, if you want to be completely blunt.
I think you're a little off on that. I think you're being a little too narrow-minded. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't know if some of those dudes were in the feet or armpits or.
I would imagine, that they get creative.
Yeah, Brian, get with the times, man.
Really good point.
Yeah. Get so narrow-minded.
You don't know if they actually discovered docking back in the day.
Oh, snap. See, Preston is joking, but he brings up a good point, right? It's not like all that's like as straight guys, we always think like, oh, it's just like, gay dudes. They're just fucking each other in the ass. It's like,
or Bon Jovi.
Right. They're doing often other shit, right?
There wasn't no Netflix and chill. Like, they were just chill.
Dude, and there were like no chicks. Like, no chicks. Women were fucking rare.
Honestly, from what I heard, like, the women were fucking brilliant back in the West. Like, the whores made a ton of money in those houses. Like, they were run by madams. There wasn't really pimps back then.
Exactly.
You know?
And it was a better system than having streetwalkers, because if one of the boys, one of these cowboys got a little too rough with one of the girls, they would get fucking sorted the fuck out.
They would. And they said, like, those women, like, they made tons of money off of those guys. Like, it was, and some of them, they said some of them were even married, and they would, like, do that on the side. Like, it was
most
because
of the women in the Old West were whores, literally. The ratio of quote unquote honest women to ho-ho-hos was something like 10 to 1.
I got a feeling the honest women lived in the city. Saying like
coming out of like a whore ratio.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Because when there's
like,
a
towns, you were just dude all day, every day for years. You're looking at nothing but dudes. And when they would, I told you guys that story, right?
I will say, dude,
when you was in a boys' school and.
No. This is the one. This is the one where what happened was, this is from Mark Twain's Roughing It, which if you are into if you're gonna write a Western, that's the best resource book for you. It really is. It gives you the best idea of, because it's a travelogue of the Old West by Mark fucking Twain, right?
Yeah.
Great book. And because I mean, that's like when I really found it out, he was just like, yeah, man, there's like no chicks out here. And like, he was in a mining town, and this guy comes riding in, and a rumor has spread he's got a woman with him. And next thing he knows, his fucking wagon is surrounded. And they're like, yeah, we hear you're a married fella, ain't you? You got a wife? He's like, yeah. And, he was just like, yeah, no, I mean, but, hemming and hawing. And they were like, bring her out.
We heard you got woman parts aboard.
Bring her out. Bring her out. They start chanting, bring her out. She comes out. Suddenly, all these dudes' hats come off. And they're like, pleased to meet you, ma'am. How do you do, ma'am? What's your name, ma'am? These dudes didn't want to fucking brutalize her, right? They were like, oh, fuck, I can look at someone that's not a fucking dude for fucking 5 minutes. I can talk to some, I mean, dude, it was insane. There were like no fucking chicks out there.
Well, it reminds me, like, when I found out like Betty Boop was a sex symbol back in the era of, like fucking like the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, Max Fleischer.
I was like, Betty Boop? I was like, she had no neck and a big old square head. And they're like, no, like she was originally a sex symbol for the soldiers overseas and shit like that. And I was like, but then you start thinking about it, right? I mean, this was the time when, like porn wasn't you couldn't easily come by that, and they would have like cards with cheesecake models on it, and these models, they weren't like naked or anything like that. They just had bathing suits on, and it would drive these dudes nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fucking horrendous. But it's kind of like they actually did a Star Trek: The Next Generation episode that explains exactly what was going on in these guys' heads, right? Where there's like, they're dealing with some alien guy. He's got something they need. And he's like, do you have any women on board? Like, do you have any females? Right? Because he's like an alien dude, right? He's like, do you have any females on board? And they're like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. I'll come on board then. And maybe I can meet this woman, this female of yours. And it's fucking Marina Sirtis, right? Who was fucking hot as fuck. Also in Death Wish 3, by the way. And
so he was basically like, "You're not having a sausage flight party, are you?"
Exactly. Right. And so what happens is they work out a deal where she gives him a tour of the ship. And he's just like politely just standing there listening to her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Keep talking, babe. Keep talking. And then afterwards goes on his way. Right. Just the idea of just being surrounded by nothing but dudes for literally years on end. It's something that you don't think about because you take the existence of the opposite sex for granted, right? They're 55% of the human race. But that's like being in prison, bro.
No, you're right. When I was working offshore, we were 300 miles offshore. We would, it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And it sounds like I can do 2 weeks. Dude, your head immediately goes crazy when you're on that. And when you, it sounds easy, but once you get on that boat and you realize like your whole world is like 50 feet in either direction, you know what I'm saying? For 2 weeks.
And
there's only dudes around, and then you don't know. And all of a sudden, you see, being a guy, I don't think women actually understand. They had a couple of women who like masquerade as guys. They're like, I never want to do this shit again. Because there's no, seriously, because there was a psychologist that dressed up as a guy because she wanted to experience what it'd be like in a guy's world. And she's like, it's the most violent thing ever because you always feel like you're under the threat of violence. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way it is. Like when you get away from civilization, in my head, I know nothing's going to happen because like it's a felony if you hit somebody offshore. Right?
Really?
Instant felony. Yeah.
Interesting. Right, because if somebody gets hurt, there's no ambulance.
No. But if you throw a fist, or you get into a confrontation, it's a felony on both parties, not just one. Like both of you motherfuckers have a felony on your record from there on out. And you don't deal with regular justice. You have to deal with the Coast Guard. So yeah, like even though I knew nothing would happen because nobody wants to risk that. Like immediately because, there's testosterone everywhere. You're not dealing with like writers and artists. You're dealing with fucking welders, and real like men. Dudes who deal real shit, and,
real men.
Like your testosterone level jumps, and you feel like you have to go around and like, you like puff your chest out and let people know like, no, this is my area.
Yeah. What a hard, right. So you got all these guys trying to show all the other guys what hard motherfuckers they are.
And it's not conscious. That's the thing is that you don't really think about that. Like it's not conscious. Like you're doing this. It's crazy. And then it was nuts, dude.
So
then when we came in, I spent most of the time with Heather, because we were dating at the time.
But tell me, it had to fucking the other thing. That had to be one funky motherfucker. What did it smell like in there?
But you talking about the boat?
Yeah.
No, the boat was clean. Like that's one thing I can say is that, like, even though guys come off as like grubby and shit like that, like, I'll be straight, dude. Like guys are some of the cleanest motherfuckers ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we know that we're grubby. And so before we ate, like everybody would trim, like fucking dig the dirt from under their nails with their knives and shit like that, and it was like
try plumbing out a woman's bathroom. It's a whole world.
That's one thing I have heard now from a bunch of people. Like I had this friend of mine that worked at a women's like I guess a salon, like a clothing store or something like that. Yeah. And he said, dude, he was like, the bathrooms are fucking nasty. It's like,
I've heard
this. Like, they like, I don't know what they're doing in there, but there's poop all over the walls. He's like, it's fucking disgusting. He was like, I was like, you're fucking lying. He was like, no, dude. He said, women are nasty.
Yes. And anybody will tell you that. Yeah. For sure. For sheezy. I've heard those fucking horror stories too.
Yeah, dude. Like,
makes you shudder, man. Jesus Christ. But imagine the Old West. Like, you're talking about everybody fucking, the testosterone levels going up, everybody flexing, everybody, you know, trying to convince everybody else what a hard motherfucker they are. Then add guns and alcohol to that equation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, was there a lot of violence in the Old West? Absolutely. But it's not like gunfights were a regular thing, right? And of course, that's the thing I love about the Spaghettis too. They're not meant to be an accurate representation of reality. They're very much set in a world. And whenever you go into a spaghetti, you know that there's a certain familiarity, right? And even though you have movies that can be very, very different in tone, it's always the Spaghetti West. And yeah, it's like the Old West, but more fucked up. A little more nightmarish, really, and violent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think, honestly, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, you think some of the violence was because, you know, like, you got all this testosterone and their hormones are building up and there's no way to let it out. So instead of banging chicks, they became cruel.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know, some guys in high school, it's like they didn't know that they were gay, but you knew that they were gay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm kidding.
Right? And you would see they were funny motherfuckers because you could tell that, like, oh, these guys are punching each other because they can't kiss. Do you know what I'm saying? They can't kiss each other, so they're punching each other.
I got a feeling Ryan got beat up a lot in school.
Not in high school. In junior high school, yeah, a lot. You know, severely. But no. Then I had a growth spurt. And put a stop to that shit. The fucking Franco, of course. Franco, always fucking great in these movies. This, I think, was the last one that he did where he didn't do his own dubbing. It's like every Franco movie from, I think, this point forward, he had learned English and would do his own dubbing. I think in this, it's the same guy that dubs him in Django, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, everybody, go check this movie out. It is a lot of fun. Is it one of the best spaghettis? Nah. I'm not even sure if I put it in the top 20, but it is good. It is a lot of fun, and you can do worse. And it's Lucio Fulci too. And so you know that there's going to be some rough bidding it going on. Thinking, what, we've been going for about hour 45. Thinking about wrapping this up, and maybe do a little bullshitting backstage. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. Smack the like button, click the subscribe, and hit the bell for the notifications if it's not a bother for you. Matt, tell these fools where they can find you.
You guys could find me here, or you can find me on my channel, Metal Movies and Brewskis. Try to do a Saturday night midnight show when I can, and I got some content on there, some reviews, and you can follow me on Twitter or X. Now it's X. And it's at Room Cutter Comic. And guys, if you want to check out my book, it's Butch Cleaver. Go to butchcleaver.com. I have my 2 graphic novels there. And thanks, Brian, for having me on. I really appreciate it, brother.
Oh, you got it, brother. You got it. Preston, tell these fools where they can find you, bro.
Right here at my house.
Right here.
24 hours a day.
That's your crib. Good. Now I know where to find you.
No, I'll be on your show, and that's about it. I'm going to be on lockdown for a little while.
Fucking swing by your crib and, with a tire iron, just tune you up a little bit for like fucking up one of my panels. Fucking bastard.
I'm down with it.
Fucking, what the hell was I gonna? Yeah, see, this is when I know it's just like, oh yeah, time to go off air. I don't know how people do this shit like all day, or how people do it for like hour after hour. It's so fucking
insane.
Get the brain fog after a little bit. But everybody, oh yeah, that's right. You can check out my comic on funmycomic.com. It is called Six Gun Gorilla. And what can I say? Everybody who sees it really seems to love it. Let me roll the fucking trailer for this real quick. And I hope you will like it. Hey, and that's the old trailer, not the new trailer. By the way, the band whose music I stole for that there is a goth metal band called the Crest, which was like a side project of the people in Theater of Tragedy, one of the best goth metal bands.
That actually sounded pretty good. Let me write that down. It's called The Crest.
Yes. Did 2 records, and if you've never heard Theater of Tragedy, you know me. Like, I'm a metal guy, but I'm a goth metal guy. It's like if you're into metal, it's like you're into metal, but there's certain shit that's like your shit. And for me, it's the goth metal jams for damn sure. Let me see if I can find the volume 2 trailer. Do I have that handy? Because if I don't worry, everybody. I'm not going to make you sit through that shit. Oh, no, here we go. This is the new shit right here. This is the new shit. If you enjoy this content and want to support this channel, a great way to do that is to back my comic book, Six Gun Gorilla, Long Days of Vengeance. The critically acclaimed tale of a very big ape with very big guns, blowing very big holes, and very bad people. I'm so confident that you're going to love this book, you can download the entire first issue for free. You can find it right now on fundmycomic.com. That's the shit I was looking for. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Everybody, if you back the book, pencils are pretty much finished, and yeah. So gonna be able to. All I have to do now is, there's just a couple of tweaks that need to be made. Preston fucked up and made some mistakes. Of course, I fucked up. And I made some mistakes, so that shit's on me for real. But yeah, no, I am psyched. You know, this is just I don't know, it's so fucking beautiful looking book. God damn, Preston can draw the shit out of a gorilla. Did you enjoy that, by the way? Like drawing a gorilla?
It's like any job. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like at first you're like, okay, how do I do this? By the end of it, you're like ready to keep going because you got it down, but then the book's coming to an end. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No,
you can see from the first book I did to this last one, like the dynamic poses of the gorilla got way better. You know what I'm saying? And the anatomy got way better.
Way better. But remember also the thing that you were doing that was really
I don't know what you did to your camera, but it looks amazingly well now. Like it's not bitmapped at all. What did you do? Like,
nothing.
Did you adjust something?
Nope.
Yeah, it's coming through clear as day.
You know, when I printed these, you know, I just print them out because I like just to have the pages to go through, right?
Yeah.
But I just love the because it's like the ink on the page. It's got a texture to it.
Oh, does it? What kind of printer do you have? Is it a laser?
It's an old inkjet. But what I'm saying is you can see all of the line work and everything, and just kind of like, I don't know, better detail for some reason. But yeah, you knocked the fucking shit out of this book, and
It was fun, dude. It was a blast.
Could not be happier, brother, man. But
how far are you along on the Street Fighter?
Oh, the Street Fighter, pretty much have the entire thing done except for the fight scenes. Because the way I wrote it was, I realized like the fight scenes, those are going to be the meat, right? Yeah. That's the meat and potatoes. That's what people are there for, is to see Tsurugi fucking people up. And so I was talking to Matt about this the other day. Fight scenes, when you write them like as a screenplay, I'm actually really good at those. Because I have my weaknesses and my strengths, I'm great with action sequences in screenplays. In comics, it's more difficult because you're not describing the fight as it's happening. You're taking fucking snapshots. Do you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, no, I totally get it.
Snapshots. But that's also why, I make sure that you've got like plenty of leeway to fuck with shit. And like I said, bro, start thinking of ways of fucking people up.
No, whatever you put down, I'm gonna change anyway. So.
No, dude, that's fine. You know me, I don't fucking have an ego when it comes to that shit. As long as it makes the fucking comic better, I give zero fucking fucks. And this is gonna be a collaboration, and we're gonna have fucking fun doing this thing. And also, we're gonna be true to the fans. We're gonna be true to the Sonny Chiba and Street Fighter fans. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got a fan that's an old OG fan from back in the day that's going to ensure that you're going to get like the authentic fucking Sonny Chiba Street Fighter experience. But yeah, we should fucking talk about this shit off air. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. And we will see you next week. And until then, peace. I'm knocking over the fucking microphone. I told you I was in a brain fog. Peace, love, and